Greetings, welcome back to 𝕬𝕐𝕐𝕠𝕪 studio here in Leitrim's Iron Mountains. My name is Harriet and today I will be sharing another short watercolour time-lapse painting, and today's painting is a collaboration with a fellow YouTuber and he has already sent me his half of the artwork, so let's go and see what we've got.
This is my first YouTube collaboration and was requested by Dejan, a Slovenian artist over at Deevz, Zevde. Please excuse me if my pronunciation is incorrect. I have put it on the screen now. So I'm here in Photoshop and I have just imported the image file that he has emailed me. I'm just cropping it here into a square because we've decided on that format, and I'm adjusting the brightness and the contrast to bring the photograph that had a little bit of yellow lighting to it to a nice white sheet so I can send a clean image to the printer. I have also added a thin border around it to frame the square. I'm now printing it onto an A3 sheet of Fabriano watercolour paper. Next, I am cutting the edges on my guillotine to make the sheet square. The little border is a really helpful guide for this part. And here it is. Dejan sent me this beautiful illustration with these beautiful flowers that remind me of 1930s fabric design. They just have something very nostalgic and a vintage feel to them. I see a few of his videos with this type of pattern, and he describes them in his titles as a type of algae. He also described these pointed vine-like things as a wasp nest flower. You'll have to go and check out his channel because he makes lots of different types of geometric patterns, and many of his pieces include a strange, surreal visual language, twisty plants with forks on them. He has a really great visual imagination, so do check out his channel. I've left the link below the video. So when I saw he included the wasp nest, I took a cue from that and I decided to do a wasp-inspired character and sit her into the scene. So I gave her wasp wings and a yellow and black stripy element to her clothing. She has yellow hair with black sections along the bottom of this beautiful decorative frame Dejan has done. There are these drips that are floating upwards. I really like the idea that the gravity isn't quite making sense here and the drips are moving in the wrong direction. I had a moment when I was not quite sure if he meant to send it to me that way or if the image was upside down. His visual language is very surreal, so I went with the way it was sent to me in the email and the way up it was when I got it. In response to these drips floating upwards, I tried to mimic that with the girl's hair. I had sections of her hair kind of floating up, also defying gravity, but I also had them kind of hanging on to some of these wasp nest flowers. Dejan sent me this collab request through my contact form on my website, and I suggested a black and white piece with just one colour, and I said that he could choose the colour. And he came back and said yellow or blue. Initially I wanted to do blue, but when I saw his artwork I knew it had to be yellow, which fits the wasp theme perfectly. I started sketching out the piece in colouring pencil, then I switched to graphite pencil as I needed to adjust the sketch so much. I didn't want too much messy undersketching on the piece as it would show straight through the yellow watercolour. Once I had the main elements of the sketch refined, I started washing out all the different shades of yellow. I enjoyed this very much, just painting with the yellows. The yellows ranged from baby yellows to bright lemon yellows, and then those deep yellow ochres. I tried to create a vertical rain-like texture with the background yellows. Once this was dry, I started outlining it. I wanted to try and mimic a similar depth of line work to the piece that Dejan had sent me. I ended up experimenting with a few different types of pens to find a consistency. First trying my Pentel brush pen, I ended up using my waterproof Uniball eye pen, which was quite good for the fine details, and I went with a black alcohol marker. This is a Pro marker by Winston & Newton. With this, I probably got a little bit carried away. I don't use these markers too often, but I felt I got some great flat blacks with them, and I also did my entire pattern around the other side of the frame with them. And I found the line work quite thick but very consistent. Bringing an element of pattern to the edge balanced the piece somehow, continuing the frame. I gave her a little halo in the middle with a little bead style border, and she is holding out her hand with a little wasp flying out of it. I also added some triangle shapes to my yellow painted background. I did this with the yellow alcohol markers. I felt this reintroduced a subtle element of repetitive pattern within the frame. I really enjoyed this collaboration. I love Dion's whimsical style, and it was so nice to work with. It's really interesting to take a cue from another artist's work and try and create a fusion, bringing the piece together in a way that complements the other, as the other artist's work sets a tone for the way you respond to it, which has a way of stretching you out of your usual approach, and I really enjoyed that. We're coming to the end of my time lapse now. I do hope you enjoyed it. If you've made it this far, thank you so much for watching. Do stay safe, and I'll see you all again soon for another video. Bye bye.